finally the flip through of my bullet journal of last year, 2022, which compared to other bullet journals that I've done, is really not up to that level. Mostly because that year I was really busy. I started working like a mini job in February, and then I started with my bachelor thesis from May on. I think a good example of what just a normal real life bullet journal can also look like. So let's look into this. Some of these themes are pretty okay, some look really good, others that I actually planned thoroughly just turned out not great. So this is my very first page, the starting of this bullet journal. I still filmed the plan with me of the yearly spread that I did, which was also Star Trek themed, which turned out, I'm not really happy about it. Or I could have done it better, differently but whatever. It's here now, the cover page is pretty okay. So didn't really use the future log, which kind of looks like a child drew it or just painted it. I don't know, it's horrible. I really hate it. Yeah, also another thing that I didn't really have the time for, I thought about just filling this out right before this video, but I was like, no. I did do like the normal letter I always write myself, and I did the goals page a bit, if it like goes us, but also this like media stuff I didn't really do. And then the next page is like finances, which I'm not gonna show you here. And then we started with January. It's also planned with me that I did film. However, I did not upload it, which was the Spider-Man theme, because right before that I watched No Way Home, and it really got me back into my Spider-Man phase, man. So I did it kind of like comic-like. I think it's very cute. I mean, this is pretty okay. It's like these buildings, and this is my habit page right here. Expenses, also kind of like the same, kind of like a neon sign style. And here we have some graffiti style. And then we have the first week, which still turned out pretty okay. I did draw a lot. I think it's a little bit ugly, to be honest. But yeah, and then I also drew the villains. And when I just drew this, it was fine. But for some reason, I decided to color it in, and it just made everything so bad. The coloring in really ruined this for me, to be honest. I mean, in general, it's fine, but also Green Goblin, I did him dirty. Like, the drawing itself was pretty cool, pretty okay, but just I should have just done it with like normal pencils and not with these markers that are not really that great with painting. But yeah, whatever. And this, let's just not talk about that. Moving on. This is the month that I used a lot of gouache, actually. The front page I drew in my sketchbook. This is the original, right? I drew it here and then I just printed it out. It's kind of like witchy core, witchy aesthetic for this month, I suppose. I really do like this month because it's kind of like simple but still very pretty, like with these moon phases. And then here I also drew some moth. And this with the plant is also just really like simplistic, but still very pretty in my opinion. Then here we have my expenses page, which by now I have changed my setup. I don't do any expenses anymore in here. I do them now in my separate journal just for my financial stuff. Then we have here the first week. It's like really simple, but it's just really simple, just a little bit painted and not really a lot. Yeah. Then we move on to March, where I was like, February I started working. That's important to remember, in the middle of February. Then in March, I don't know what this theme is, to be honest. It was just pretty random. It's a lot of like very vibrant colors, a little bit pastel-like, more like calm but like colorful, and basically this. And I did like these Dutch door thingies. So we have here the monthly spread, and then we have my working hours that I was trying to plan. Obviously I didn't really continue. And then my habits, which obviously I didn't follow at all because I just simply didn't have time. And then here is again my expense tracker. And then we start with the weeks, where I also have like this kind of system here. I started off, did I start at the 17th? Wait. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did this later, as you can see. I didn't do it from the first on, I just did it from this week on. So I also sometimes started to monthly plan like in the middle of the month or something. This is just very random theme. Just, I don't even know what this is. But it's okay. I try to kind of like have the colors from here resembled. Like here we have like this pink and here we have a lot of yellow. Obviously I didn't use it in this week, which is kind of sad, but yeah. Then here we have kind of like green and purple, I suppose. And then the last week I didn't even do more. It's just empty. And then we have April, which I think is actually really cute, at least the monthly spread, where I did this really small Dutch door. Yeah, also not really a particular theme, just going with it. I think I tried to do like just different kind of geometrical forms, but I think I didn't really continue with that. Here's my expense tracker again. And then I didn't even have a habit tracker that month because I realized that I just simply don't have time in my private life anymore. Alright, and then we have the weeks again, like the same system, also very random. Don't really like what it looks like, but it was practical for that time and that was everything I needed. Yeah. And this week I didn't even need it. Oh yeah, right, because this was the week when I visited my cousin. And then here I actually like this one with the postmarks and just the general thing. It's pretty okay. I also like the vibrant colors. I don't know. And then this week also nothing. Then we move on to May, which you can barely see, but it says it in here, when I was in my Moonlight phase. I love that show so much. So I decided to do like kind of like an Egyptian theme. I printed out these hieroglyphs on a paper and used them throughout here, and I did this really weird desert with the pyramid drawing just on top of it. I don't really like the title page, it's pretty ugly. But this in here is actually pretty okay. Looks a bit weird with the photos just put together, but yeah. This is when I also just looked up hieroglyphs and the according Latin letters. It's probably not even right. And we have my expense tracker here. And then right here I kind of did it like a script roll, so you have like these kind of forms on the side and then you have the weeks in the middle. And I always did like about the same. I had like these animals in that style, and then I always printed out the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. No, it's in German. Yeah, it's in German. Also try to do like the Egyptian numbers, but as I said, I'm not an expert. Sometimes I also put another like this paper in the background. And I always had like one deity. This is pretty okay. It's not the prettiest. I don't know. I like the idea of the theme. I just think it could have been done a little bit better. Then in June, I tried to do like, I guess, sort of like a plant theme. But here I actually drew with pencils also, which was a lot of fun because I just, I didn't, stress myself or whatever with anything. So I did like a lot of green and a lot of like paper. Here we have finances. And then I did like this leaf shapes for the weekly spreads. Pretty simple, like just like the border here with design paper, then like this just is for the day, and then just some washi tapes and a lot of stickers. But as you can see here, I also just did those 2 weeks, and the rest of the month apparently nothing. Then July. So ugly. I don't even know what this is. Oh my goodness. And then I decided spontaneously, yes, I'm just gonna do it Deep Space Nine themed. So this is Deep Space Nine. Very ugly in the background. Oh, this is, just no. This is actually pretty okay. I like how I did these words. And then I had like this different kind of weekly spread where I had like lab work, then my normal work, which was also sort of in a lab but in a different lab, and then what I wanted to repeat, because I did back then plan to continue that year with another study, but now I'm doing it this year. And then we have the finances here. It's really a bit chaotic. And then here we continue, as I said, Deep Space Nine. Yeah, and that way, because I didn't really had like that much motivation, I just like wasted just like 1 page for 1 week instead of 2. Here I started with gouache to paint like the wormhole from Deep Space Nine. Obviously I did not finish. It just looks like a blob. Then we have August. August is also another one that I did kind of like plant themed. These ones I drew on a separate piece of paper and then cut them out and stuck them on there. Also this one, I don't know if you can see it, this one also. This one also, so that I could just put them on there. I don't really know it's just very colorful, and sort of did the same kind of layout again, but this time I actually used 2 pages and then also to-do list for the whole week. Oh yeah, right, and this was when I was in quarantine, in self-quarantine though, because I had contact with somebody who was positive. So I decided to just contain myself and I stayed negative, as you can see here beautifully. And I was like, yeah, I can be so, productive when I'm just in my room by myself. Apparently I didn't. And then here we have September, which basically described what I just said. It was like the last month that I had in a lab for my bachelor thesis. And it's just, I just needed it and that was done. Yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, here's also a bit from that. This was for my research stuff. Then we have October, which was when I was finished in lab mostly, and I was also rewatching Supernatural at the time, so I did it kind of like Supernatural themed, and I really do like the layout. It looks really pretty. I like the cozy theme because brown tones just really remind me of October. So this is kind of how I did it. Oh yeah, this was also when I was planning to do Inktober, but yeah, I didn't really do it. But I also didn't want to stress myself, because in that month I also had to prepare for travel at the end of the month. So yeah, I really like, I don't know, I just like the layout. It's like very maximalistic, but I like that sometimes. Most of the time I prefer maximalism over minimalism when it comes to bullet journaling. So these are my weekly spreads. Which I actually quite used it, besides this one, because here somebody visited us, and after that I also left for work stuff. Then we have November, which is kind of like space themed, but like very doodle-like. Like I used a lot of doodles to do that, so like I doodled all these planets, and I don't know how I had the bloody patience to do all these dots. I don't know why I did that. I don't know if I would do it again. But because I did it on the title page, I was like, oh, this is great for like filling the space and just making it look like making it just more come together. So I just continued it for like the rest of the month. But I think it looks really good. I like it. It's sort of like, I don't know, it has this like paper feeling, like just doodling in your working book at school, so, sort of. I don't know, it just reminds me of that. So yeah, just normal. I used also a lot of stamps for like the weekdays. And just always just used certain washi tapes, and then just doodled the planets, and then some zodiac signs, other star signs and stuff, just really randomly. This is when I got new stamps, as you can see here, and new paper, which it's technically clouds, but it fitted with like, got more like purpley themed also. This is my Christmas gift idea list, because last year I actually got all Christmas gifts far before Christmas, which was really good, at least most of them. Here we also have a small earth. Oh, it's so cute. And oh, oopsie. And then we are at December, which is actually also a plan with me that I filmed and uploaded to my YouTube channel, which is like comic themed, which was so much fun to make. Holy crap. So here we have Spider-Man on the title page, and it's also kind of like a Dutch door. And then here we have Moon Knight. I love how the moon turned out. Oh, it's so good. And then here we have Iron Man. This is something that I referenced off of a comic book that I own. I think all of the references, or at least from here on, the references are all from comic books that I have. And then here I have like this comic-like expressionist stuff. So yeah, here we have Yellow Jacket, one of my favorite characters in the comics. And I always did like this, like here, and I also did these, and I also remembered that I have these stickers. So yeah, this is also turned out really good. Here we have Captain America. Then here we have Captain Marvel, but this was also when I was sick, right before Christmas, and then till after Christmas sort of. So I didn't really use this week that much. And that's already it. I didn't really do anything after this. I did somewhere at the beginning of the year decide to do like a future log for the next year after that, but I never used it. It's also, I mean, it's not ugly, but it's like a little bit ugly. The numbers are ugly. And this was my bullet journal from 2022. And now for this year's bullet journal, I chose a different one that I've never used before, because sometimes I use the same brands, but I found this, which is like more like ecological, climate neutral. Also, they support LGBTQ projects, and it's vegan, uses resources that can be regrown and stuff. So I decided to use this, and the paper was relatively thick. So yeah, this is the cover that I chose. I like how like simplistic it is. But yeah, this is my bullet journal. It's a little bit thinner, so maybe depending on how much I use it this year, I need a second one for the other half of the year. But this year I definitely started off a lot stronger with my bullet journaling. It's also a lot more fun. I don't even care how it turns out. You know, this one had like its good sides and its really ugly sides, and it's totally fine. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to subscribe, comment, like the video, and see you sometime.